Hey guys, we've done a lot so far and we haven't really looked at the GUI yet. If I open up the panel for the synth container, everything is all jumbled up. Some of this stuff isn't even labeled, so who knows what it even does. In this video, I'd like to get all this stuff cleaned up. The first thing we need to do is just separate all of these controls. Just get them all in their own space. I'll organize these a bit and put all the knobs together. And the ADSR and LFO. This would be the oscillator controls. Okay, but now it looks like we're missing a few things. First is the Moog filter. Its controls are not being displayed, so go to the Moog filter container's properties and set controls on parent to true. This will display all controls for this module on the panel of the container that contains the Moog filter, in this case our synth. Do the same for the delay. Let's edit the panel of the Moog filter. I'll set them up like this. Now I'll change the resonance table to just reso. Also, I'll set show readout to false, because we don't really need to see the amount of voltage being passed through. I'll do that for the pitch plug as well. Also, just like with the EQ knobs, the Moog filters knob is labeled knob, so I'll unlock it and change the text to dry/wet. Next, go to Insert, Subcontrols, and Rectangle. This will give us a background for the Moog filter. Adjust the size so that it covers all of the controls, and right-click the rectangle and select To Back. That will put the rectangle behind all the other controls. Next, right-click, Insert, Controls, and select Panel Group 2. We can use this to give a border around the Moog filter, as well as this label here, so that we can title it. Right-click the panel group control and go to Properties, and change the text to Moog filter. Again, same process, but this time we do the delay. I'll arrange these controls a little better. For these sliders, we only really need to see the voltage amount on the delay time. The volume and the feedback sliders don't really need their readouts, so I'll turn those off. Add the rectangle. Position it, and send it to the back. Then add the panel group, resize it, and rename it Delay. Next, I want to create a little group for the volume controls. The problem with that is, every knob is named knob, so let's rename them all. The left volume knob will be labeled left, while the right volume will be labeled right. Okay, now I'll rename the pan knobs oscillator 1 pan and oscillator 2 pan. As you can see, the oscillator 1 and 2 pan knobs titles are too long and the text is being cut off. Right-click the knob and select Panel Edit. Now you can resize the text field so that everything is visible. Create a rectangle and position the 2 volume knobs. Add a panel group resize it, and title it Volume. We have 2 groups left, one for the oscillators and another for the LFO and ADSR. Everything is titled correctly except for the 2 list boxes that specify the oscillator waveform. I'll rename them Oscillator 1 and Oscillator 2. Also, I'd like to turn off the readouts on the oscillator's volume controls. Now, add a rectangle, size it, position the controls for the oscillators, then add a panel group, size it up, and rename it Oscillator. I'll turn off all of the readouts for the sliders that will be used in the LFO and ADSR group. Add a rectangle and size it up. Position the controls, add a panel group, and title it LFO/ADSR. Even with all of that, we still need to line up everything perfectly to really make this look good. Rather than sit here and show you me nudging every control around, I've gone ahead and lined up things pretty well right here. So there you have it, a working synth with a nice enough layout. You can customize this layout further with skins, but for now this is looking much better. If you go ahead and lock the main container, you can play around with this from the GUI and not worry about accidentally dragging one of the groups out of place, or moving the keyboard or something. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please rate and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.